And hello.
Okay, so we are live.
Yay.
These glasses, though, they are going to make me crazy.
Oh,
Wait, I just have to fix our settings. It's hard because, when you're used to wearing glasses all the time,
uh-huh.
and then when you're used to wearing contacts all the time and then you wear glasses,
Yep.
it's a very different feeling.
It is a different.
It is. All right, so give people a few minutes, I guess.
Yes.
So, how are you tonight?
Oh, good. Busy, great busy week. I'm back in Virginia,
Mm.
and then tomorrow I'm back to Detroit.
Tomorrow you leave for Detroit.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, tomorrow afternoon I fly out, and then I'll be there until Sunday, and then I come back home. So, looking forward to getting back home.
Yeah, it's always nice to come back home, isn't it? No matter where we go.
To get in your own bed. I fly out.
Okay. All right. So we are up.
Ah, yeah.
Do you see us? Are we good?
I
All right.
making sure that we got everyone. I don't see us yet, but that's because I'm not on the right page.
Oh, okay. Good.
Get there.
Okay. So I'm going to be doing a lot of this on, off, on, off.
Ah, okay. I see us. There we.
Okay. All right. Great. Oh, I see Jenny Lynn is watching. Okay. All right, great. Well, you know what? People will find us. We are going on a different day this week.
Special Wednesday edition of Tuesday.
Yes, because sometimes schedules get in the way, right?
Yes, yes. But we are not defeated. We will not be overcome by schedules. You know,
No,
there will be okay, so fine, we couldn't do it on Tuesday, then we are flexible and we'll adjust to Wednesday.
right, exactly. Because we're dedicated to doing this, so we're not going to let schedules get in the way of that.
Right.
Okay, so our topic today, we're going to talk about taking steps, even if they're small steps,
Yes.
to just keep in motion is the key, right?
That's it. The main thing is to remain in motion to to make traction. Just even if you're moving slowly,
Hmm.
idea is to move. I can think of a lot of different examples of this, but you think about how slowly sometimes a tank moves, and and the thing is they're moving slowly, but they're making traction, and they're getting closer to the goal. Or we joke about turtles, right? But they're moving closer to that goal, and the whole
Right.
is to continue moving. Sometimes if we stop and then we think, oh, these things, they fell apart anyway. I had plans and those things weren't going well, so I just stopped altogether. Well, sometimes just that momentum, even if it is a small amount of momentum, is enough to keep us moving in a direction to make things happen. I
Mm-hmm.
I read John Maxwell talking about the what is it, the plan of five. If you go outside and take just five, take an axe and to chop down a tree and take five swings a day, it may not come down all in one day, but eventually that tree is going to have to fall.
Yes.
And it is just a matter of making Sometimes just small steps. The thing that gets us in trouble, and when I say us, I mean me. The thing that troubles sometimes is we have that whole idea. I love this phrase. We want to boil the
We
ocean.
want to, wait, say that again. We want to boil.
Boil the ocean instead of just one little pot of water at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Just take things in smaller, manageable steps. If you're taking small steps and feel that they're too small, then you adjust. It's easy enough. If you've taken 5 swings and think you can take 6, take 6.
Mm-hmm.
But the key thing, the most important thing is starting and being consistent. And a lot of times what derails us is we think we have to try to do everything all at once to reach a goal overnight. And if we don't get immediate satisfaction, again, I'm talking to myself. If we don't get immediate satisfaction, then we want to quit.
Yeah.
And that's not the way to get there.
Right.
It's not.
So, Donna commented, right? Slow and steady is always a good thing.
That's right.
And it is, right? Because we're still moving, we're going. So that is. And hi, Dawn. Good to see you again. So John also talks, when he talks about momentum and small steps, he always talks also about like the locomotive, right? The diesel train, how slow it starts.
Yes.
Right? Very, very slow start. But when that thing picks up speed, you can't stop it.
That's right.
It will crash through a cement wall, right? And one of the things John talks about when he says that is, you build a locomotive slow, but it builds up speed and does not stop, right? And that's momentum. So when you build that up and it goes faster and faster, now you're creating. And with steam, you can run a locomotive.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's about those slow steps. And Dawn says consistency is so, I think she means so hard, especially when we start so many things. Okay, that's a really good point, because sometimes we're not doing one thing at a time, right? We're in different directions. So now we have to it's like we're juggling and we have to keep them all going at the same time.
Well, we become so, I don't think the right word is accustomed. We become so conditioned to multitasking and the belief that there's something wrong with you if you're not juggling 5 plates at a time. And everyone can't do that. Most people can't do it well. But John also talks about his own life and having 5 things that he does. Reading, I'm not going to remember all 5 things, but reading, filing, writing, and he doesn't have to do them for hours and hours per day, but he does something, even if it's just a little, every single day.
Right.
He said, every single day, on his birthday, on holidays, every single day.
Right.
And people will ask him, how do you write so many books? He says, 1 word at a time.
Yes, he does. Right. Right. But consistency, it's about persistence and consistency, right? Because if we take small steps and somebody else is taking big steps, they're going to need to take a break. Mm-hmm. All right. They're going to need to slow down. They're going to stop. And when they stop is when consistency and persistence win, because they don't stop. If you're taking small steps, you're in harmony. You can keep going.
Yes.
But if you're taking big steps, or as Dawn said, you're taking steps in different directions, and you've got to keep all the balls in the air, it starts to get a lot harder, and it's hard to keep that going.
And also it's going to take longer to where you need to go. If you're taking 5 steps in a direction as opposed to 5 first steps, you're going, if you're on one track, if you're moving on one track, you're going to get to where you're going sooner than if you're taking a single step on each track that you have. So it's
Yes.
more difficult to manage that. Now, as far as specifics are concerned, what are we talking about? So we've talked about writing. Uh, I don't know if anyone else has weight control issues. Certainly, if you're talking about working out,
Mm-hmm.
if you're talking about issues with making time for family, or if you're even talking about living out your dreams, there's something that you want to do. You're not going to do it all in one day. You figure out, invest that time in yourself to sit and think through
Yeah.
what 3, 4, 5 things, 5 small can I do each day, consistently. And it may mean I will take 5 and write in my journal so that I develop the habit of writing daily, so that I'll take the time to read other subjects or read
Mm-hmm.
that are aligned with what it is I want to do. So you're investing that time. Uh,
Right.
so it really, there is an investment that must be made, and there are
Right.
often things that have to be given up. I've talked about having to cut back on many different types of things when you're trying to reach goals. And when we say we don't have time, the gift of time, are there areas where you're really using time and it doesn't support what your goal is? And
Mm-hmm. Oh,
my 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 discovery of the amount of time that I spend on social media, uh,
yeah.
is there something else I can do with that time? So
Mm-hmm.
there's it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
That was one of the things I had to cut back on was Facebook, because once I would get started looking through Facebook and I would see, different things people were doing, and I would feel a connection. So I would feel like I wanted to support them, or I wanted to comment, or, and it could just keep going and going and going. And so I have a limit for myself now. I had to do that.
Oh, I am still working on the limit. I
Yeah.
I am posting cat videos and recipes. So, but still there's that realization that this is time I can that's better spent on something else. Okay, fine. Then instead of doing this for a half hour, take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you got to move on.
Right.
And some of the things that I see and read on Facebook I enjoy. Some of them I hate, so I don't spend any time on that. But still, I don't want something I like doing to keep me from being able to do something I love doing. And,
Mm-hmm.
and that relates to a goal. It's this minor moment of pleasure could stand in the way from me realizing a dream. So no, I don't want that. And then sometimes if I made a commitment, then it becomes commitment over convenience. I
Mm.
stick with what I've said is my commitment. Not
Right. And that's being true to your word,
yes.
right? What you commit to doing. But whether it's a goal or whether it's developing yourself, small steps every day toward something, right? And even if you have a goal, we still need to develop ourselves, right? It's about becoming the person that's worthy of obtaining that goal, right? So what I've learned is sometimes I could get so busy between my work at the crisis center, my private coaching clients, a mastermind group, or a speaking thing somewhere, um, And I can get so busy with that I sometimes want to slow down on my personal stuff because there's just so much going on.
Yeah.
But what I find is when I do that, I'm not as I can feel the difference in myself when I'm in front of people. I have to keep that up in order to really do my best work. Dawn is asking if I had to pick a book to start, what book would you recommend? Hmm.
Ooh,
That's a tough one because there's a lot of good books.
you're,
um,
and to start
what
with,
Dawn, if you could tell us a little bit about what are you interested in learning about?
yes,
That might help us to pick one because there's a lot of good books. It depends on what you're looking to learn more of, right? Would you say?
I agree.
Okay. All right. So you tell us that, Dawn, and we'll give some suggestions. Okay. So can you think of something, Rhea, that you got to that was big, where you took small steps to get there?
Hmm. Gosh, I mean, probably a little further back than I want to go, but I can talk about a little bit about my story. I started college and then stopped and started working full time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a boss who said, "No, you can't keep working for me. You've got to go back to school." And that became something that was just it was one class, two classes, three classes at a time. It was slow and steady. Being very focused on what I was doing, and I was anxious once I got started and picked up momentum. I was very anxious to finish, but that was something that had to be that I had to pursue more slowly because I was working.
Right.
But it just required measured, calculated steps. And of course, I did finish. No, I did not finish college in 4 years. And you know what? No one ever says anything about that to me. So, so I over, what, 20, 30 years later, is someone saying anything? Oh, you didn't graduate from college in 4 years. No, I did.
Right.
Everyone is on their own clock. And,
Right.
and meanwhile, I also had a lot of good work experience during that time. So, yes, that was something that I did at a very slow pace.
Mm-hmm. But you were still developing yourself along the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I would say I share that with you 100% because, I first went to school for banking. I had to go very slowly because I had to work a full-time job while I was going to college. I didn't, get that experience to go away to school. So I took classes in banking very slowly, one at a time, because I was working a full-time job. And then years later, when I switched my major over, I went back to school again. So school would be my thing too. If you asked me, what did you achieve that was big that you did by very little steps along the way? I mean, I was raising three kids. I was working. I was always doing something else when I was going to school. So it was a little bit at a time, but I did it.
Right, right.
and and I learned along the way a lot, like a ton actually. All right, so Dawn is saying,
Mhm.
being the me God wants me to be. Ooh. Mm. So how to develop yourself, Dawn, or how to know your purpose, that kind of thing. What I'm thinking of is what's the book by Warren? Oh, gosh, A Purpose Driven Life.
Rick Warren.
Rick Warren, right.
Yeah, a purpose-driven life, and then also I'll think of I'll throw in a Maxwell text too. Becoming a person of influence. And
Mm.
there is a journaling guide the name of it, I can't remember the author, but it's called "I Gotta Be Me," and it's filled with uh, these little stories or prompts. I call them prompts, prompts, prompts,
Mm-hmm.
to get you to look inward and help you discover more about yourself. It's called "I Gotta Gotta Be Me," and it's something that I use too, and have recommended to others who are starting to journal, and then who are on the path of uh, developing a greater sense of self awareness
Mm-hmm.
and being able to ask yourself, how do I feel, and answer the question. So
Hmm.
um,
So it's interactive, would you say?
it well, I don't know. I mean, there's no one on the other end, but it allows you to look at where the exploration, the area that you're going to explore, read that, and then be able to write what you're thinking and what you're feeling. So
Right. So no one's on the other end, but it's not read like a story. It's read like as if someone's asking you something to look within.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
So it's sort of a like a guided journal writing.
Huh.
So yeah,
I'm gonna write that down. I didn't know about that. Let's see.
and there's a whole series of them. But I gotta be me. There's one for that I remember buying for a friend who was going through heartbreak, and
Mm,
about how to get your footing, get back on your feet, and how. And I love it because it's consistent with what we've learned in preparing to be coaches, is that the answer lies within you. Uh,
mm-hmm.
if you will take the time to really, really tune into yourself, and you'll find the answer.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. I do like that.
Hmm. All right. So those are two good ones. Um, okay. So I wanted to ask, I don't know, we do have some people on that were from last week. I know we switched the day on you, so there might be more people watching the playback version. But did people have a chance to take a day where they treated themselves like their best friend? Did anybody do it?
I'm glad you remembered that.
Yeah. Oh, I want to call people out on this. Let's hear it. Who took a day to treat themselves like their best friend? We talked about it last week. Hi, Paulette. Paulette says, "I'm here." Hi there. So while we wait for people to respond, I did. I did it on Sunday,
Ah,
and I had to catch myself a few times, but I'll tell you, I felt really good.
that's great.
It felt really good.
And you know what? That can be even small steps that part of the small steps that we take, because you need to take a moment and even think about, you know,
Yeah.
how you would treat your best friend, in a situation. Now, hopefully, everyone would be nice to their best friend. I hope people don't best friends and they're mistreating them. But uh, that's not what we're promoting here.
No.
But it is, what would I do? Because that's one of the things for me is it makes me stop and think. So how would, in a situation with this, how would I treat my best friend? And
Mhm.
uh, and what loving thing would I want to do for them? So yeah,
It's amazing how you do catch yourself.
yeah,
You know, it's not something I did, you know, as often as I would have liked to without being aware of it, you
right.
know. But it felt good. It really felt good, and it was interesting. But so far, nobody's saying that they did it. So be interested to see. I'm going to check comments to see if anybody did do that because it is, you know what, it is effort.
Yes.
Um, but if you do it enough, then it's not effort anymore.
Well, and it doesn't have to stop with just this session. I mean, that's something we can check in on every Tune In Tuesday, just to remind people to treat themselves as they would their best friend, and then see if anyone had any
Yeah.
experience with that over the weekend, and what they did and how it worked out.
Yeah, so let us know if you're catching the recorded part. So Paulette said she downloaded 2 apps, Calm. I have Calm, um, and another one called Shut Up Devil.
Shut up, Joe.
Ooh, Shut Up Devil. Do you know that one, Rhea?
I do. And I think I may have been the one who told Paul.
Oh,
But it was, we had a visiting minister at our church, and she mentioned.
this was treating myself because I thought of me and how I could do something for my mind and spirit. It's great. So what is Shut Up Devil, Rhea? Share.
Shut up, devil.
You're holding out on me.
Well, I just learned about this on Sunday. It app. I mean, it's got a wonderful, funny little catchy name, but it equips us to speak back to that voice that tells us negative things, and
Ooh.
organized by topic, and it is supported by scripture. So if you have this sense that you're not enough,
Mm-hmm.
how do you come back? And there are things that, because we talk about the importance of self-talk too, and these are things that you can just read through, or you can actually speak out loud. And so there are some people who are like, oh, you have to have an app to do that. Oh no, you don't have to have an app to do that, and you don't have to have an app to tells you to be calm or to breathe. You don't have to have an app that does multiplication for you. But these are conveniences and things that you can choose to do. If you don't want an app that's called Shut Up Devil, guess what? Don't download it. You don't have to use it. But I think that there are people who can benefit from it. It's fun, has a funny, catchy little name, like I said.
Yeah.
But there are people who can benefit from that. And as soon as the minister said it on Sunday, I was in service, pulled out my phone and downloaded. Yes, I did. So,
That sounds good. That sounds good. So Dawn says, I did. I felt selfish. I cooked what I wanted and watched what I wanted.
good for you.
Okay. Um, so I'm sorry you felt selfish, but did it feel good? Were you nicer to yourself, not just watching what you wanted and cooking what you wanted, but was your self-talk as nice as it would have been to your best friend? That's what I'm looking to see. Oh, she's gonna look up "Shut Up, Devil."
Good. That's good.
I am too, Dawn. I am too. I want to see what that's all about because really, just the name of it sounds like I want it on my phone.
Yes. And I need to access that.
Who doesn't want to tell the devil to shut up?
Yes. And sometimes you have to tell yourself to shut up.
Yeah.
Things that, like we talked about this before. If another person spoke to us the way we speak to ourselves, there would just we break up all the furniture in the house fighting. But we accept this from ourselves, and we shouldn't. And
Right.
really, it's not necessarily the devil that you're talking to all the time. Sometimes it's just that devilish thing within you that causes you to say bad things to yourself.
Yeah.
And tell it, you got to put it in place.
Well, our thoughts can sometimes, it's so interesting when we live from our thoughts. Our thoughts, one thought could lead to another thought, could lead to another thought, could lead to another thought. And before you know it, it's not really us saying that. It's our thoughts that are running the show.
Yes.
And I guess so the bottom line is you're not your thoughts.
Mm.
You're the keeper of your thoughts. right? So you can't be the keeper of your thoughts and your thoughts at the same time. Someone's in charge. So when those thoughts start going haywire, like one thought leads to another thought, leads to another thought, leads to another thought, remember, you're not your thoughts. You're the keeper of your thoughts. You're in charge of your thoughts. You know, like if you say to somebody, how are you? And they say, I feel happy. No, they don't say, I feel, Rhea, oh no, where'd she go? All right, she'll be back. I don't know why that happens. But sometimes we'll say to people, how are you? And they'll say, I'm happy, right? You're not really happy. Your thoughts are happy. You are thinking happy thoughts, right? Hey, good, you're back.
Okay, yeah, because it wouldn't be a session if I didn't disappear.
I know what. Why does that happen? We have to figure that out.
Because because something popped up on the screen, and when I tapped it, it took me out of the app. But
Oh, you had a pop up. But
yeah,
I was telling people how we're not our thoughts, right? So
yes,
sometimes if people say, how are you? And you say, I'm happy, you're not really, you're not happy. What is happy? What is happy? You're a human being having happy thoughts,
mm-hmm.
right? Because we're spiritual beings really having a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
But our thoughts are just a part of something that goes on in our mind that we can control. Um, okay, normally I cater to myself. All right, well, that's good. That's what it was about, is being good to yourself. And Paulette is saying you're the thought manager. Yes,
Yes.
that's exactly what I mean, right? Somebody's got to be in charge of these thoughts. Don't give them the show. They can't run the show. They're not qualified to run the show. Thoughts just keep going.
Yeah.
Nobody's monitoring them if you don't. But people sometimes give them the ability to run the show. And when the thoughts keep going, they keep going with them. It's like they're attaching themselves to the thoughts.
Well, because some people believe, and 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 I've heard this so many times. Well, I can't control my thoughts. Yes, you can.
Well, if you can, who can?
Yeah.
Like what is that saying to say, I can't, if you can't control your thoughts, then you can learn how to control your thoughts, work on it, because if you give into that, if you make agreements with those thoughts, then you're just going to be playing catch up with thoughts all your life.
Yeah. It's
That brings on, when we get stuck in thoughts, that brings on fear, anxiety, self-doubt, all those things.
well, and it's a lack of, you lose control over your own life. We don't control every aspect of our lives, but there are things that we do control, and that we can manage. And I like what Paulette said about thought manager. And management is, interestingly enough, is not something you know from birth. You learn to manage. You
Yeah.
learn to be a better manager. So it's even that with our thoughts. We learn to manage them, and we learn to become a better manager. And that's my goal, is to become a better manager of my
Mhm.
thought.
Yes, yes. And so Dawn says, I would slap somebody if they spoke to me the way I talk to myself.
I agree.
Oh, that's so true, right? But I'm glad she said, that thank God she's learning to love herself and see her self-worth. That's what makes the difference.
Yes.
When you value something, you take better care of it.
Yes. I agree.
What if our thoughts are good thoughts? Oh, well, if they're good thoughts,
That's great.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing to monitor if they're good thoughts, except even good thoughts could run the show, right? If they're good thoughts saying, well, this is really good, you have to do more of it. And then do more of that, because that's really good. And it's really great when you do this, so do more of that. It's just a matter of, I think it was Buddha, right? The Buddha said, observe your thoughts, observe your thinking.
Hmm.
That's very powerful. So just to know what you're thinking. How many people have no idea what they're thinking every day? They have no idea. They don't know what they're thinking.
Well, I know what I'm thinking.
You know what you're thinking. All right. So
It's
take.
good.
No, I was just going to read Dawn's comment. So take every thought captive. This trigger emotions. Emotions trigger actions.
Ooh,
Thought
yes.
pop up. We need to learn to X them out. Absolutely. I mean, your thoughts create your behavior, your beliefs. Your thoughts create your beliefs create your behavior. We behave according to how we believe. Thoughts are so important. I don't know people know the power of their thoughts.
Well, and then managing your thoughts. Again, it's not about boiling the ocean. It is about taking one step at a time. And one of the first steps is becoming, making the unconscious conscious. So things that are happening that you're not paying attention to, that you're not aware of. Developing that sense of awareness related to those things. So you have these thoughts, and it's stopping and think, wait a minute, what was that? What did what did I just say?
Right,
And being able to capture that and walk it back.
right,
It's
right.
a process. It is a process, and it's
And
not
some,
like,
and it's not what?
it's not always overnight. It takes
Right.
through that. Mhm.
It takes time. It does. But sometimes people say things. Do you ever notice like sometimes people say things and like, oh, why did I say that? Right? And guaranteed there was a thought at that moment that created what you said. There's always a thought that creates a behavior or an action. It's always there. But people just aren't very aware of their thoughts. Right. And so that's why, with coaching, one of the things I love about it is we up level people's thinking. And that's, we can't solve a problem with the same thinking that put us in the problem, right? So therefore, in order to solve the problems we created with our thinking, we need to up level our thinking so that now we can view them differently, right?
And develop actions. With that new thinking, be able to develop new actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
All
Now,
right.
looking at the time here.
I know we have to go. I just want to go over Donna's last comment here. You need to learn how to select your thoughts just the same way you select your clothes every day. This is a power you can cultivate. If you want to control things in your life so bad, work on the mind. That's the only thing you should be trying to control. Elizabeth Gilbert. I have nothing to say to that. That is it.
All right, Elizabeth Gilbert. Let's eat, pray, and love.
Yes, let's go to Tuscany.
Let's go. No, I agree, and I'm with you. I can't say anything to. I can't add anything to that. That's beautiful.
No, that's exactly what we're talking about. Thank you, Donna. That's exactly what we're talking about right now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to think like Elizabeth Gilbert, huh?
Yes. Hey.
All right. So yes, it is a little bit late. Thank you for the hearts and all of that. So yeah, if we say something that strikes you or that you like, definitely add a heart, add a like, add something, let us know. It feels good on our side to see that. Okay, so yeah, it's 6:39. Time goes too fast.
Sure does.
It does. I don't know.
Every week we start this, I'm thinking, now we're going to be able to talk for a half hour on that. And every week we're saying, oh my goodness, we could talk for 2 more hours on this subject. So
I know. And you know what? Maybe one day we'll do like a lesson. Maybe we can do like an hour class. How
oh,
would that be?
would be good.
Right? Let's do that. Let's work on, okay. All right. So everyone that's listening, either now or with the playback, if Rhea and I were to devote an hour to doing a class with you, or even more, what would you want it to be on?
Hmm.
Okay. So think about, oh, thank you, Dawn. I shared this with so many friends.
We appreciate that. We
Thank you.
it, this the amount of support that we've gotten uh, from the ladies who are on this call now with us, and then from people who are watching, has just been it's been the most wonderful thing. I mean, to have, I mean, we're expecting that we have what 10 views, 20 views, 30 views, but to be able to have more than 300 people viewing, or my guess is it's not one person viewing it 300 times, but to have more than 300 people viewing. You know, another thing that we've thought of doing is even having a special guest join us. That would be cool too. But let us know what topic you'd like us to teach, and we'd be thrilled to do that.
Yes, and I'm sorry, my screen just froze for a minute.
Oh,
But yeah, so let us know if there's a topic that you want us to do, and I think that would be fun because these half hours seem to fly by so fast. And yes, we do appreciate everybody's support. I mean, even it was interesting. I was at work one day and I was saying to somebody, well, you know, I'm a John Maxwell coach and trainer. I can help with that. And he said, of course I know. I watch that show every Tune In Tuesday. I never catch it live, but I watch the recording. So it was really funny. But anyway, everybody, thank you all so much for tuning in to us so we can help you tune in to you. That's what our goal is. Rhea and I feel so strongly about women tuning into each other and to tune into themselves.
because we want you to have a
Ridiculously
amazing
amazing
life.
life. Okay. I don't know if we could say that at the same time, but we tried.
Yeah,
All right. So have a beautiful week. Fill it with love, laughter, and being good to yourself. Okay.
thank you
Big
all.
love.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
Rhea.
Bye, Laura.
Have a good night.
You too.